to it, listen to her, because it's amazing what the Lord has done through our children as they put this together. Some of them have decided, I want to follow Jesus. Some of our children have asked Jesus into their heart. I got tickled this morning. Kyle, bless his heart, he brought coffee in to give to me, and I appreciated that because on Sundays my mind is in so many different directions. And he came in, he said, he's risen, or I can't remember which one of us said it first. We always say he's risen indeed. And he said, did you go look in the tomb? I said, no, all I had to do was look at my heart. Don't have to go to the tomb. I need to sometimes, but he's in my heart. But Jesus had tried to tell his disciples what was coming. He had warned them. He had told them about how he was going to die. Have you ever found yourself, and as parents, you all have done this, talking and teaching and pouring yourself out, but it seems like everything you say just kind of falls on deaf ears? How much clearer could Jesus have made it that this was going to happen when he told the disciples in Mark 10 and 32? It says, now they were on the road going up to Jerusalem, and Jesus was going before them, and they were amazed. And as they followed, they were afraid. Then he took the 12 aside again. See, he had already done it once again, and he began to tell them the things that would happen to him. Behold, we are going up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man will be betrayed to the chief priests and to the scribes, and they will condemn him to death and deliver him to the Gentiles, and they will mock him, and they will scourge him, and they'll spit on him, and they'll kill him, and the third day he will rise again. Then in verse 35, this is where I made reference to it earlier. Then James and John, the sons of Zebedee, came to him saying, Teacher, we want you to do for us whatever we ask. How many of you are so glad sometimes Jesus doesn't do things that we ask him to? I prayed some prayers today that I'm so thankful he didn't answer. I'm telling you. Anyway, and he said to them, what do you want me to do for you? They said to him, grant us that we may sit, one on your right hand and the other on your left in your glory. But Jesus said to them, you don't know what you ask. Are you able to drink the cup that I drink and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with? They said to him, we are able. So Jesus said to them, you will indeed drink the cup that I drink, and with the baptism I am baptized will you be baptized. But to sit on my right hand and on my left is not mine to give, but is for those for whom it is prepared. And when the other 10 heard what James and John were doing, they began to become greatly displeased with James and John. But Jesus called them to himself and said to them, you know that those who are considered rulers over the Gentiles lord it over them, and their great ones exercise authority over them. Yet it shall not be so among you, but whoever desires to become great among you shall be your servant. And whoever of you desires to be first shall be a slave of all. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life a ransom for many. In this one passage, he told them in more ways than one that he would die. I think the disciples suffered from the same thing that many of us suffer with today. I don't know if you have anybody in your home that suffers with this, but I call it selective hearing and selective memory. Okay? I don't know if anybody, if you wrestle with that. But in John 6, we find Jesus doing all these kinds of things. He feeds 5,000 men plus women and children. In John 6, he walked on water. He taught on being the bread from heaven. Many followed him until he talked of becoming a partaker of his flesh and of his blood. And it says in the scriptures that from that point on, many followed him no more. But we read in the new covenant of those who followed them, we get this. It's in Matthew chapter 26 and 27. We find that he took the cup, he gave thanks, and he gave it to them, saying, drink from it, all of you. For this is my blood of the new covenant, which is shed for many for the remission of sins. You hear this echoed again in verse 22. Without the shedding of blood, there is no remission. Last week, I taught on the body, the blood, and the branches. This morning, what I'm sharing with you and what we're trying to communicate with you is now it's been changed.